Okay. Okay, there we go. My name is Matt Carlson. I'm the assistant principal at Ording High School. I've been here since 2007. I was a school counselor prior to becoming a school administrator. It's my second year as an assistant principal. And did not know that pandemic school leadership was in my future when I signed up for this job. But Mr. Freeze and I and the counseling team here are really here to serve your needs tonight, try and give you as much information as possible. I have kids in the community. We live in the community. I love Ording. I love our schools, and I love that our kids are starting to come back to school where they belong, and really looking forward to hopefully getting your kids back to school too. So I'm going to turn it over to Mrs. Smith, and she'll go ahead and kind of introduce herself.
You're muted there, Shelley.
Yeah, sorry. Okay, I'm Mrs. Smith still, and I am the counselor for anybody whose last name is A through K, and I have been in Ording since 2000 as a counselor at the elementary school. And welcome aboard. Mr. Thayer?
Hi, Josh Thayer. I'm the counselor L through Z. It's my first year in Ording. I'm super excited to be here. Welcome, guys.
And I'm Miss Nelson. I'm the graduation specialist for Ording High School. I have been a school counselor for 15 years. I've been a graduation specialist. This is my 5th year. I was a community college advisor before that. So I love Ording. I love what I do, and I'm glad to be here tonight.
So our aim tonight is to reach about the 45-minute mark so that we can leave opportunity for questions and those folks still to get out and get to the late dinner or early evening, whatever it is you're aiming for. So presenters, just note we kind of went a little long last time, so we might need to be a little more truncated in the second half.
Sorry, Mr. Freeze.
I don't want to say your name, Mr. Carlson, but okay.
All right, I'm going to go fast then. So I just wanted to let everybody know that registration looks a little bit different this year. We're doing it all virtually. Normally we would, as counselors, go in and have met with students multiple times during the school year and gone through the process and really looking at different courses and career exploration. This year we're going to do it through Google Meets. Everybody should have already gotten an email to their school email inviting them to their Google Classroom for the specific day and time that they can join to go through and look at registration. You also have been forwarded your Skyward password and all that information as a direct link also to join. So 2 different places. Look in your email if you have not got that, or if you've not joined your classroom to come to those registration meets, please do that as soon as possible. As you can see, it's on different days and different times. So starting next week, our incoming juniors, so our current sophomores, will meet March 8th and 9th, specifically at 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. is that if your last name starts with A through K, you're going to meet with us and join the Google Classroom. And if your last name is L through Z, you will join from 1:30 to 2:30 on March 8th. On March 9th, 9 to 10 will be the L through Z, and the 1:30 to 2:30 is the A through K. So we gave a morning and an afternoon opportunity for a Google Meet for the whole alphabet. As you can see, the different dates and times follow suit. So please join, please come. We can answer your questions. Our sophomores and juniors current right now will be using Career Cruising, which you've used in the past, to plan out their next year's schedule. Our current 9th graders, going to be sophomores, are going to use their Skyward registration process. So it's important that you have your Skyward information and you know your login information too.
So Josh is going to talk to us a little bit about graduation requirements.
Yes. So to make sure that you guys still need 24 credits to graduate high school, those are all in different subject areas. So you need 4 credits in English, 3 credits in math, three credits in science, et cetera, et cetera. It is our job as the counselors to make sure that you guys all have all of that stuff. And so we're going to make sure that you guys, when you guys are doing your course selections, that you guys are still doing that and making sure that you guys have everything that you need to graduate high school. There are some what they call personal pathways that we can waiver. Those things we will talk to you guys individually about as you guys have those questions. We want to make sure that math and English Smarter Balance assessments, that you guys are college ready. Those the SBAs are taking your sophomore years. The goal would be at least a level 3 that shows that you're college ready. Or we're meeting one of the 8 other graduation pathways. To save time, we're going to make sure that you guys can check out OSPI's website on grad pathways. Things like advanced placement classes, college and the high school classes, our career and tech classes, taking the ASFAB. Those are all different pathways that you can meet. None of them are easier. They're just different pathways for different opportunities for what you're looking at. Washington State history, making sure that you're passing that in middle school. That is a middle school class. That is a milestone, so it's on the bottom corner of the transcript. Making sure that that has been met, and if it hasn't been met in middle school, we will be making sure that you guys meet it in high school before that graduation piece. And then lastly, that high school and beyond plan, making sure that those things are created. We are working really hard at making sure that that is a working, living document starting in your 9th grade year, starting actually in middle school, following you all along through your high school and your senior year and beyond, which leads us into that next slide. So what does that look like? High school and beyond plan. We're going to be doing some career interest. That's generally done in career cruising. Next year, it'll be Zello. Career cruising is transitioning to that. An individual plan or a career goal. What does that look like? So how does that career interest plan into what I want to do, what I want to be, kind of what my interests are, that kind of stuff. Education training programs associated with that career goal. What is it that I need to do to be an electrician? Is that going to be? Do I have to go to a university for that? Do I have to go to a trade school? Can I just get right into the job course? Those are going to be the things that we are going to be looking at through that high school and beyond plan. The financial aid, if we're looking at going to a university or looking at going to a trade school, how do we get funding? How do we get that free money? 4-year course guides. Those are the things that we are doing currently. So when you go in and you do your course selections, that's your 4-year course plan. Okay, so Zello and career cruising will save all of that stuff. So you sophomores and juniors, you guys are going to be able to see your 9th grade, your 10th grade, your 11th grade, all of the stuff that you guys have taken, all of the classes you have passed. And you can go, wow, that's a lot of work. And it is a lot of work. Making sure that you have a specific pathway. And again, I mentioned that briefly on that previous slide. If you haven't met the SBA standards, what's that other safety net that we have for you? Making sure that you guys have a resume completed and uploaded into Zello or Career Cruising. And then we like you to be well-rounded, so giving back to the community. There's nothing wrong with community service. So we want you to, the goal would be 25 community service hours by the time you graduate high school.
Penny, Ms. Nelson, can you go back to slide 4 as we transition? So great question, Emily is back as perfect timing. One of the things I just want to say, because this is a different audience than our incoming freshmen. Some of you are parents of juniors, and so I'm going to cut straight to the chase. The SBA, years ago, several years ago, not too long ago, you had to pass the state test in math and English to graduate from high school. And we know the SBA wasn't given last year. We think it's going to be given this year. So this is really confusing right now. What I want to say to parents of juniors, I'm about to transition to the programs of study, is what we've been saying here in Ording for many years: you're more than a score. We value academics. We know we can always do better and improve in our academic, our instruction and our academic skill sets for our kids. We want every kid to pass the Smarter Balance assessment. The state came in last year and recognized across the state, kids are more than a score. There are many types of students in our state that learn in many types of ways. A single score on a math or English test does not tell the whole story. So the concept of graduation pathways was born. It said there needs to be multiple ways that students can demonstrate proficiency and go after, pursue their careers after high school without just saying, I'm going to pass a math or English score. We, of course, want every student to graduate from Ording High School proficient in mathematics and English as they walk out the door, because we know that will help success for whatever career they're going into. Penny, you can move forward to my slide on programs of study. I say all that because I want to transition us to some of the work we have done. One slide back there, Ms. Nelson.
Oh, sorry.
Some of this, that's okay. Some of the work we have done here in the last couple of years is to align our career and technical education programs to meet one of the grad pathways for kids. So in every one of the ways a student can meet a grad pathway is if their high school and beyond plan says, I want to go, for example, into a business career. We needed to make sure we had 2 credits at minimum of business classes for a student to take to meet the grad pathway for CTE, which is 2 credits. Any 2 credits in the same program area of CTE meets the grad pathway for graduation. This is all brand new. So we have aligned all 6 of these areas. We can say to you that your kids have options to take classes if that aligns to their high school and beyond plan. If that's what they want to pursue after high school, we have an option. We have 2 credit options in every single one of these areas, which helps your kids graduate, but more importantly, it helps kids pursue what they're excited about after high school if it's in one of these areas. We cannot offer every class at Ording High School. We're a school of 800. Some of our neighboring high schools are you know, if you just go a little north of us, you'll have high schools of 1,800 students and they can offer more programs than we can. But we have done a pretty good job, and I'm really proud of the work our teachers have done in developing state-approved frameworks in each of these 6 areas: agriculture, arts and communication, business and marketing, family, consumer science, health science, and STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. On the next slide, what I want to show you, so your kids can pursue programs of study in each of those areas now on the high school campus. Some of those programs lead to the Skills Center programs that are available 20 minutes up the hill on Canyon Road and 160th. As Mr. Freeze says, you know, some people ask about why did we get rid of our shop program? Well, short and sweet, the Skills Center has a shop program that has plumbing, electrical, it hits all the trades and has some of the best tools and machines and job training skills that we just couldn't, quite frankly, afford to do here on our high school campus. So where we don't have a program like an automotive industry program or an aerospace program or a trades program like plumbing and welding and carpentry, those are available at the Skills Center for kids their junior and senior year. Yesterday, the application opened for the Pierce County Skills Center. So I'm going to drop in the chat the link for the Pierce County Skills Center. And if you're going to be a junior or senior next year and you're interested in attending the Pierce County Skills Center because they have a program that aligns to your high school and beyond plan, you can go to that link and right on their homepage it says to apply. You can apply to their school. You will still register for classes like every other student. If you get into the Skills Center, then our counselors will work with those individual students, and Ms. Nelson kind of takes the lead on this and meet with those families and students to make sure their credits are on track and they get into the program of their choice aligned to their high school and beyond plan, and we can support that work. So again, just really excited about our career and technical education programs, the programs of study we've mapped out for kids, and the Skills Center partnership. So if you're a sophomore or junior and you're looking at a Skills Center program, make sure you apply. They need to apply today. It's first come, first serve. And if they don't get your application, and the 3 programs that are typically fill up the fastest are the automotive program, the medical careers program, where you get certified as a certified nursing assistant. And the other one that fills up pretty fast is the cosmetology program, where they can actually graduate fully licensed to cut hair and do makeup in the state of Washington. So those programs fill up fast. Every year is different, so we encourage kids to go there and get signed up as soon as possible. And if you have questions about any of that stuff, drop it in the chat and we'll make sure we address it.
So Mr. Thayer, were you going to talk about university-bound students, or do you want me to?
You can.
Okay, cool. So you might ask, well, what if my student is a university student, someone who's going to university straight after high school? So the things that you need to be mindful of specifically are your student's GPA. Typically, colleges within our area take students with 3.0 or above GPA. University of Washington is different because they are more of a select college and they have a lot of people applying to their university. So they can be a little stricter. Western Washington University, sometimes it's maybe 3.4, 3.5 GPA. So the GPA is really, really important. College, the college pre-college practice tests, like the pre-ACT for 10th graders. The PSAT is typically done in the fall of junior year. And if you're a current junior, the ACT or the SAT at the end of junior year. Your high school course selections are really important. AP, college and the high school running start. College application deadlines are really important to look for, as well as the scholarships and financial aid pieces. So I'm going to move on to why the GPA is so important. A student's GPA is a major criteria. Most colleges will do a holistic review of college applications. They do look at GPA. They look at the coursework that you've done. They look at the types of activities you've done, those types of things, and community service. And some colleges even want a personal statement if your GPA is below their standard for acceptance. So it's really important to keep your GPA up as you're going through high school. And college testing practice, as I said before, we offer the PSAT and the pre-ACT. The PSAT is a practice version of the SAT test. It's an option for interested juniors, and the students must opt into the PSAT. The benefits, of course, are that students get a chance to practice for the SAT before taking it in the spring of their junior year. And if the student scores well enough, they could be eligible for the National Merit Scholarship. It also gives our students an opportunity to see where their academic strengths and weaknesses lie. And the pre-ACT is very similar to the SAT or the PSAT. And again, it gives kids an opportunity to see where they may need some additional help, math or English, science, those types of things before they take the actual ACT in the spring of their junior year or the fall of their senior year. And the college testing, I've touched on it a little bit. The SAT and the ACT are tests that universities look at in determining college acceptance, among other factors. This year has been really strange because of COVID. A lot of our colleges across the United States have gone either test blind, which means they're not even accepting test scores, those college test scores, or test optional, which means they will accept them if you had the opportunity to test, but they're not required. I don't know what's going to happen in the future. My gut tells me that colleges will go back to accepting either the SAT or the ACT and looking at college acceptance. Both tests are fine. The only difference between the two are that the SAT measures ability and the ACT measures achievement. So that's something to consider when you're thinking about either one of those tests. There are costs to the tests. So if you do need a fee waiver, if you're on free reduced lunch, you can contact me and I'll make sure that you get a fee waiver to take the test. At the last check, I checked on ACT and SAT. All of our local testing centers were closed for those tests in March. It remains to be seen for May and June, but it's still worth a try if you are definitely a university-bound student. So that's something to think about. Both test sites, links to both test sites are on the Counseling Center webpage. And along with our CTE programs, we offer and of course, Pierce County Skill Center, we offer AP courses. And I think Ms. Smith was going to talk a little bit about that.
Sure. So AP college and the high school, a little bit different. So we have several AP courses, advanced placement courses, and to know that those courses are taught at a college level with the opportunity in the spring to take through the College Board an exam that shows your learning and your progress through the whole year. Universities, many of them require at least a 3 or higher on that exam, 5 being the highest. But I'll be honest that some universities say in a history course that you need to get a 4 for us to accept that as either an elective credit or as a substitution or a waiver for an entry-level course. And that really is determined by the universities that you want to send those AP scores to. College and the high school is a little bit different. Ording High School has, I'm pretty excited about the opportunity to work with Central, Eastern, and the University of Washington at this point for our English Lit and Lang classes and our pre-calc and calc and our computer science principles class. And what college and high school is, it does come with a fee. That fee makes you are enrolled, you become a Central and Eastern or a UW student. You are a college student, and those courses are taught by an Ording High School teacher with the same curriculum as the curriculum that's being taught at Central, Eastern, or the UW, meaning that you do need to pass those classes at the university's required grade point to earn that credit. If you don't pass at that level, you don't get a refund. But what you do get is that you will end up with a transcript from that university stating that you have passed the different courses, and specifically like CW is like 152 and 153. Each semester level, you can up to 4 or 5 credits of college level on a transcript that can go anywhere versus it's transferable is what I'm trying to say.
And the other cool benefit of that is you can also bypass admissions. So if you pass your Central class, you become a Central Washington University student, and you can bypass the admission fees and process and go straight into that university.
And I just brought up the other slide about what Ms. Smith was talking about. She was talking about the college and the high school, and the costs are up there on the screen for you guys, just FYI.
And that is specifically for 10th through 12th grade. And they're in different subject areas, just to know. So if you're stronger into math, maybe you need to want to look at the pre-calc and the calc, or if it's in language and lit, doing that. It doesn't force that you have to enter into one and not, so you have some flexibility. It's a great opportunity.
We just got notification that our, Mr. Freeze, correct me if I'm wrong, our AP biology courses next year will also be college and the high school through
Eastern.
So that's an exciting development that
we're applying also right now for our history classes as well. So we should be up over 50 credits next year. So theoretically, the kids should have most of their core classes in their freshman, their sophomore year at college taken care of at Ording High School through university, if they choose.
And I think Mr. Freeze and I would say that if the discounted college tuition is affordable for your family, that is I think we can safely say that's a preferred way to go over AP, because those credits will transfer to a four-year university in a way that might be more consistent with what a student is choosing to do for a major after high school. So again, it comes down to affordability. You can reach out to your counselor if there's a financial hardship, and that we can see what we can do to partner with your family for students that choose to enroll in the college and the high school and want to pursue that. So it's a really wonderful option.
And they do transfer out of state to out of state schools also, because you are a college student versus just taking an AP credit.
Yep. And the Running Start program, we talked about the other dual credit alternatives for Ording High School that actually happen at the high school, but Running Start is a program along with Pierce County Skill Center, does not happen at the high school. But Running Start is a program that happens on college campuses as opposed to taking the classes at the high school. There are eligibility requirements for Running Start. You must be an incoming junior or senior. You have to meet minimum proficiency standards on their college assessments that's administered at the college. Our students have to provide their own transportation. And a common misconception about Running Start in particular is that it's free. Running Start is not free. Tuition is covered. However, students have to pay for their textbooks, and there are fees that can sometimes reach $200, $300 per quarter. So that's something that you need to consider if you're thinking about Running Start. And Running Start students have to be enrolled full-time either at the college or between our campus and the college campus. And I'm trying to think of anything else that we should talk about for Running Start. Mr. Freeze, can you think of anything that I've left out?
For Running Start information?
Yeah.
No, I think you pretty much covered it.
Okay.
I would just say this. I'll add in something. You didn't ask me, Ms. Nelson, but I'm going to go ahead and jump right in. Hey, here's all I was going to say is I'm going to expect, and again, I don't have insider information, but as you consider registering for the fall, if you're thinking Running Start, I'm going to expect the colleges to most likely continue with some type of online environment, would be my guess. I can't, again, I don't know that for sure, but that's going to be my educated guess on that, given what's going on. And so just as a heads up, that's just one thing to factor in your decision making. More information to come. I know Ms. Nelson's going to show the next slide has some information about our parent night on that.
And I do want to pop in, there was some questions about, do I still register coming up, even if I want to go to Running Start? Yes, please fill out your registration, your courses for next year as if you were going to be at Ording High School pursuing your career path, your future high school and beyond plan. So when you go to Running Start, it doesn't affect your courses that you do have at Ording High School.
And if you're also considering the Pierce County Skills Center, please register for the 6 credits and the 3 alternatives that you need for Ording High School registration. There's no guarantee in participation in either of these programs, unlike our college and the high school or CTE classes at Ording High School. So please register for all 6 classes or 6 credits and your 3 alternatives, even if you're thinking about Running Start and the Pierce County Skills Center or the Pierce County Skills Center. We are going to have an upcoming dual enrollment event. We host a mandatory Running Start meeting every March for our incoming juniors and seniors. We're also going to have the college and the high school folks from Central Washington University there just to give a brief overview of the college and the high school program. The meeting is on Thursday, March 18 at 6 p.m. It's going to be online just like this. As I said before, it's mandatory that you attend if you do want to pursue Running Start. It isn't mandatory for college and the high school, but they will have some good information, so we hope you can join us for that. College visits and applications, that's something that I really love doing as the graduation specialist. I put together the college visits that the representatives that come to our campus, and it's really great because students get to meet representatives from all different colleges. This year, of course, because of COVID, has been a little weird. So this year I put together a college visits calendar, and the link is within this presentation. And I believe we're also going to send out the presentation along with the video, if I'm not mistaken, so that people can actually link to these links that are within the presentation. But the college visits calendar is really cool because you get to visit different colleges virtually and meet the college representatives virtually. And you can go backwards and forwards in time, which you really can't do in real life. But in my college visits calendar, you can. So you can visit any college that's listed in the calendar from September through now and get a feel for what that college looks like. We're hopeful, really hopeful, that next year we'll have college visits to the campus, to our campus, and that we'll have our college and career day that we usually have. So fingers crossed. If you can visit colleges during the summer between your between your junior and senior year, that would really be great. But of course, it might not be possible due to COVID. But it's a good idea if you can. We have lots of information on the Ording High School Counseling website about college application deadlines. And of course, if you have a need and you need your college fees waived, you can always get a hold of me and I will try and get you a fee waiver.
Ms. Nelson, can I just add one thing?
You bet.
In addition to college visits that, and again, this has been a little weird this year with the pandemic, but in normal times, the military visits our campus frequently. Recruiters are on our campus volunteering, so students have access to military recruiters and do formal talks as well, where students are able to go in and ask questions. We also have other really cool opportunities that Ms. Nelson's been working to expand for students that are not necessarily looking at a four-year college or university, through our technical colleges and our apprenticeships. And right before the closure, and as a matter of fact, at our career fair last spring, we had lined up for our apprenticeship folks to come in and talk with our kids about the trades and some of the apprenticeships options. So it's not just four-year universities that we try and ram, down kids' throats. And I just want to say this, I said this at the freshman meeting, but I just want to say it again. Every pathway for every kid is valued, period, end of story. We need carpenters, we need plumbers, we need military personnel, we need computer science programmers, we need doctors. I could go on and on, the list is large. We need people that work at the airport. We need, you know what I'm saying? I could go on and on. So we really are trying to emphasize each student pursuing a pathway that is the right fit for them. They're based on their interests, what they're good at, how they interact with other people. So I want to just say that loud and clear that we want a pathway for every child that meets their needs beyond high school. So just important to hear.
Yeah, we like to say there is no just at Ording High School. There's, I'm just going to go to community college, or I'm just going to go into the military. There are no justs at Ording High School, because every pathway is important and valuable and individual. So for sure, thank you for that, Mr. Carlson. I appreciate it. Still on the vein of college, though, I want to talk to you guys a little bit about, for seniors especially, the FAFSA and scholarships. Because if we're thinking about going to college, two-year college, trade school, any type of university, sometimes apprenticeship programs through two-year colleges or technical colleges, you would still have to pay tuition in some of those pre-apprenticeship programs. So we want to make sure that you guys know about the FAFSA, the free application for federal student aid. That's something that I talk a lot about to my seniors. I talk to senior classes in September, and I get you guys ready for the opening of the FAFSA, which happens October 1st. There's so much money to be had through the FAFSA if you are intending to go to any type of school, any type of post-high school training that requires money. You really, really want to do the FAFSA. And there'll be a financial aid night for seniors. Anybody actually can come. It doesn't have to just be seniors. So there will be a FAFSA and financial aid night in the fall. Hopefully we'll be on campus and we can do what we like to do and have everybody there to meet with financial aid people. And then of course our scholarship programs are really great. We have two really, really great community scholarships. The Ording community loves our students. We have the Ording Alumni Association, or the Ording Alumni Foundation. I can't remember how to say it, and I hope I don't get in trouble. But we have an alumni association that gives money to our students, and they are very generous. And that application typically opens in December. And then we have the Ording Community Scholarship. Lots of Ording community members and companies give to our students, and that opens in February, and it's due the last Friday in March. So those are really important details for incoming seniors, especially those who are planning on any type of post-high school training program. Okay, Mr. Thayer.
You're muted, Mr. Thayer.
I hate it when that happens. So what can we as parents, or you as parents and students, do for the next couple of years or year to get this process going. One, parents, do not be afraid to have those conversations with your students about what your next step is, what kind of interests you that you have, or are you planning on going to a community college or university, or are you looking at going to that technical route? And that's a-okay. Students, do not be afraid to have that conversation with mom or dad, aunt and uncle, counselors, principals, whomever it might be, and who you want to have that conversation with. And we are all here for you. And so have those conversations of what your life wants to be outside of school, post high school. Make sure that you guys are joining that Google registration classroom. We have them set up. If you need that link, email your counselor. We will be more than willing to make sure that you have it. A lot of you guys are already in those. Those who are, awesome. Those who are not, make sure that you're in it. And make sure that you guys are going to at least one of those registration meetings within that classroom. And those dates are posted in the stream in your Google Classroom. And then last things, that fourth point, make sure mom and dad, you have your student show you what they're planning on taking for that next year and how that relates to their next steps outside of high school. Okay, those are the next steps that you guys can be doing and having those conversations.
And I want to close the meeting up. We're going to open up for question and answer next. As you see the emails, Penny, if you could go ahead and give us the contact info for everyone. What I want to say last is Orting High School has a high graduation rate. And if I'm being frank and honest, there's two ways to get a high graduation rate. One way is to become a diploma factory where you just pass kids through regardless, right? The other way is you have to do the hard work of kid by kid decision making. Being a small school, that's one of the benefits we have. We're getting larger and larger, and I need you to understand the people on the screen, Assistant Principal Carlson, Mrs. Nelson, Mrs. Smith, Mr. Thayer, they do that hard work of kid by kid that you can't do when you have 1,200 kids in your school. But we have meetings where we talk about kid by kid, every single senior. The 5 of us sit in the room, we talk about every single one of them. Are they on track to graduate? What can we do? Who's going to contact them? What interventions are we going to have? I would add to that list Ms. Planellis, who's also a major part of those students getting over the graduation line. So this is a lot of information you got tonight. What I need you to know as a parent, exactly what Mr. Thayer just said, have those conversations with your kids. But know that we as professionals are making sure that your kids are taking the right classes to graduate. And we don't depend on you as hardworking parents who have busy lives to remember all those graduation requirements. We have your kids, we have fail-safes that are set and ready. Make sure your kids go to school or log in and make sure that they are on track and passing their classes, and we'll take care of the rest and make sure they're in the right places, okay? So that's not something you as a parents have to fulfill. That's what you pay us taxes for, and we'll make sure that we get the kids over the graduation line and that we don't make mistakes in their transcripts. Okay. So for now, we'll look through. You guys can unmute and ask questions, or you can put them in the chat and we'll try to answer them as quickly as possible. We'll stay here as long as necessary.
Ms. Nelson, do you have any military? One of the first questions is military recruiting visits. Do you have any military recruiters lined up for Google for virtual meets?
I have military recruiters contacting me all the time, begging me for students to meet them. So if you are interested in the military, simply send me an email and I can hook you up.
And we usually have recruiters in at lunches during the school year when we're in person. So I'm guessing that's going to start up when we go back to in person. Hopefully the board votes on the plan tomorrow, whether or not Orting High School will begin on March 29th. But I will be welcoming in recruiters most likely back into the lunchroom to talk to our students. Can you put your email in the chat?
Ms. Nelson. She wants Ms. Nelson's.
Got it.
And just a reminder that please, there's a lot of question about registration and how to do it. Again, my next year's juniors and seniors, you can go into Career Cruising right now. You have all your information sent to you. Go ahead and look at your course planner. Look at your career profiles that you've looked at in the past, because you've done work in there already in past years before COVID, and map out an idea. So when we do have our meets, You can ask some specific questions about different courses. Remember that the course catalog links are also in there. You can go and click on them. On the OHS counseling website at the bottom has the course catalogs if you want to read about what prerequisites for biotech. What does that mean? Is biotech a CTE class, or is that just a bio class or a science class? So go ahead and do some research before your meets. That will help you a lot.
Shari, that was a great question. Yeah, we would ask that you register, even if if you plan on moving to another school district, because then for a couple reasons. One, that information will be useful for you because you can take it with you. And if you transfer when they request the information, sometimes they'll ask what courses you registered for with part of the your academic history, your transcript. So yeah, we'll definitely have everyone go through, even if you plan on moving. And then that will help you hopefully when you transfer to your new school. And if anybody, we can't see everybody on the screen. So I don't see any hands up, or I wouldn't know if your hand was up. So if anybody wants to unmute a microphone, you can also do that as well.
If there's a question, and Jamie gave me the screaming no. Google Classroom will continue to just hold the assignments, so we'll try to keep them digital for absent students or students who have to quarantine or anything like that. As a repository.
Just for clarification, so we have the ACT, which Ms. Nelson had sent out a email about, but the SAT, there wasn't anything that was sent out about that, and that's on hold. Is that correct?
Yeah, the SAT doesn't have any current dates anywhere locally that we can find. We even sent a kid to Montana to get a test.
Say that again?
Didn't we even have to try to get a kid into Montana or Oregon to try to get a test completed?
Yes. And they still canceled the testing site that weekend. About 5 days before the test occurred, they canceled the test site.
We really don't know what's going to happen. Universities that have chosen to go test blind, Emily, there was already a movement underway at 4 universities to make test optional. I don't know if Cliff spoke to this, but one of the things that they've been advising, 4 universities have been advising us is that if they go test blind or test optional, they're starting to look at the whole child as part of the admissions process. And one of the things that they look at is how our students do. So how does the sending high school students do when they arrive at the college campus? And that's one of the things that they can kind of keep that data and statistic on to make sure that our students are successful at their universities when they go there. So.
And they're also looking at essays, and they're looking at your civic work that you're doing in your communities and your extracurriculars. They're trying to build a whole picture of a child, not just a test scores, since we don't have test scores either. So it's a big movement.
Question about.
I understand. Thank you.
Family. Question about community service. So we have a goal of students to get 40 community service hours, just as a good goal, similar to what an A is. We don't tell kids to get a D, we tell them to strive for an A. An A would be 40, 25 are required to graduate. Honestly, that's going to be lowered for students in COVID. They didn't have access to community service opportunities. So probably at the end of the year, we'll try to have each senior look into a community service option this year, whatever that looks like. We'll have grace and compassion on that. So don't worry about the community service option. It's just something you want to be civically minded in. Is there something I can do for my community? But it's not going to keep anyone from graduating. Next up, is there still a chance to take the ACT? You guys just talked about that, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
I responded. I just told her to reach out to Miss Nelson, and we'll figure that out.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Squires. Yeah, Google Classroom, I think Google Classroom is going to continue. I mean, there's still going to be a repository where we can hold that in case a kid was to be absent. We'll still have that digital piece to help students who are not able to get to school. That doesn't mean that we're not going to be using books and paper inside of our classrooms. What counts as community service? Anything you're not getting paid for that you do for someone else other than yourself, Travis?
And I
would
actually have, I'm sorry, I actually have links on the Ording Counseling Center website for community service options or not options. Yeah, I guess options, where you can look for, you can call different places like the Old Soldiers Home or the food bank, those types of places, and get some community service hours in.
Yeah, and Caressa, your question about who ensures that we do the community work, that's kind of a tricky thing, because if you have an advisor, so as far as the community side of the house, so if you do something outside of Ording's high school proper, like you work for another organization, they have the ability to go in, I believe, Mr. Freeze, if they register through Transio, to verify that you did the hours. Our coaches and our club advisors also have the ability to do that for students who participate in community service through our clubs and our sports teams. So an example would be Coach Bannon with the football team. They might go out and do a Saturday day of service in the park, and he's going to have all of his football players go do that. He can go in then and check off that they did that work with him, and the team did that work that day. So it's in that Transio app.
Yeah, nice plug, Mr. Squires. OHS track does need all kinds of volunteers to move hurdles and count feet and push up the high jump bar. So if you need community service, Coach Squires can hook you up.
Did you say
there's a need for that?
The need for that? Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Huh.
wait, Mr. Freeze, would you say also that a condition of community services, it's not for mom and dad?
No, unfortunately, it's not chores. No, it has to be for someone outside your family. Any other questions for us? We're going to stick around for as long as you guys need us to. If you're staying in, be polite and kind. You can you can feel free to leave. If you stick around for entertainment and questions, feel free to stay.
Yeah, Brittany, yeah, go ahead, Cliff.
I just paid for this with my son, so you actually pay the university tuition, although it's a much lower rate than you'd be paying if you were at that university. So depending on the school, it's paying what's the exact numbers, $225 to $375.
Yes, actually, it can be anywhere from I want to say $265 to $350, depending on the school.
And that's generally for a 5 credit course. You pay that amount. So my son just finished pre-calculus. I paid that amount. So he's now done Math 153. Second semester, he'll do Math 154. So it'll be just over $500. We'll have an entire year of mathematics at Central Washington University on a transcript that he can take anywhere.
And they take payment plans too, I believe.
And we do have the ability to help families that maybe don't have the ability to get that credit. We work real hard to make sure that money's not a problem for that access. College and high school versus Running Start. I'd love to talk about that. In recent years, our colleges have been hurting for money. So what they've done is they've opened up Running Start to everyone and honestly made it just an open door. And so when you go to Running Start, if you go to get your AA and you graduate with your AA, it's a lot more powerful because most colleges, particularly state schools, will take that transfer AA and turn it pretty much, you'll get all your credits. If you go to Running Start and you don't complete your AA, the colleges you transfer to like to play a transcript game where they give you elective credit and they don't count certain things. And so you end up as a family kind of being sold a ball of goods that I'm going to take 2 years of college for free. And that's not actually what happens. Whereas when you go to college in the high school, those are university credits on a transcript. It's not a high school thing. You get a central transcript, you're a central student, or an Eastern transcript, you're an Eastern student. So it's just like you attended that college on campus. Our teachers are adjunct professors that are trained by those colleges and accepted. And that your students are actually, they get a student number from that college. They are a member of that college. They could show up on campus. They could go to the outdoor center. They could, rent a kayak as a Central Washington or Eastern student. So you're actually a member of the university. It's a lot more powerful college credit for people that want to go to university. Next up, what I miss?
So just a question, I'll field this one on Julia. You asked about if the school board votes to approve our proposal for return to school March 29th, We are proposing an A-day, B-day schedule, a 6-period day that would begin approximately at 7:45 in the morning and end at 2:15. Students would attend school Monday, Wednesday, or Tuesday, Thursday. That's some of the details that's pretty good what I can give you there. Would you say, Mr. Freeze? I mean, that's kind of our proposal.
That's pretty accurate. Most likely Friday is not going to be in the schoolhouse, but Friday is going to be a virtual option.
But it will move from the current model of the 3 virtual meets to the 6-period day. And we will transition, we're proposing to transition that beginning March 22nd for high school students so that they have a week. So both students have a week to get used to getting up earlier, and teachers and our system has a week virtually to tune any problems before students return as far as our schedule and making sure everything is correct the way that we have it mapped out.
Jamie or Jasmine question, I don't know which year you're talking about, but yes, Jasmine will be offered both this year and next year. I just had a conversation with Mr. Baroker this morning, and I think the Jasmine students are electing to come both days so they can play together as a group, although they have to be 9 feet apart when they're playing and have covers for their instruments that we've purchased.
And I suspect that Mr. Freeze and I don't mean to put this on you right now, Mr. Freeze, but if and when the school board approves our plan, we will probably be hosting another night like this to do Q&A for parents and students.
Bet. Tam, what time do you wake up in the morning? Do you want to do a Google Meet tomorrow?
Oof.
I will email you tomorrow to schedule a time with you, okay?
All right, cool.
All right.
Clubs this year, Mark, right now, most likely will remain virtual. We shall see. We shall see. Stay tuned on that. We're working different. Yes, I can only commit to virtual right now, like we're doing. I will advocate as we move forward to see if it's going to take some time though. We have to get back to school first and make sure that's operational and that we can do this, keep everyone safe.
You bet. Harper, yeah, if you're not comfortable coming back, we do have the option B to go into online learning. So there is ability for you to stay remote if you don't feel comfortable coming back.
Oh, Director Thibodeau. Hi, Director Thibodeau. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Yeah, have a great night, Caitlin. Travis, how can you join online clubs? Depends on the club and who the advisor is. Like esports is Mr. Baroker. National Honor Society is Mr. McNinch. So you can contact your counselor with who to contact for advisors.
And Harper, are you currently an option? And you don't have to say this out loud. I don't know if you're an option. If you're an option B student, you'll remain because you chose that at semester. I don't know if you're not an option B student. I don't know if our schedule can handle any adjustments one way or the other yet. So contact your counselor if you're not currently option B. You need to contact your counselor.
Anyone else have questions for us? You can unmute if you don't want to type. Thanks, Mr. Squires. Have a great night. I hope we got you some volunteers.
Hey, Mr. Squires. Mr. Squires, email me with your information. I'll put it on our counseling website under the community service stuff.
Hey, happy to. I think I just sent to all OMS staff an email, so look for that. And that might be in your email if you're on the all OHS staff.
I should be. Thank you.
Students have 504 plans. Mark, they're going to contact their counselor and they'll navigate the 504 plan issues. You bet, Travis. Have a great night. Oh, it's easy, Desi. It's easy for us to work hard for kids, especially when they're not here and we want them back so bad. So it's a good motivation. Thank you.
Yes, Jamie, they'll register at the March meetings that they come in. For our juniors and seniors, they can go into career cruising now and start looking at their course. For our 9th and 10th, they will be working, we'll open up Skyward at that time after we talk to them a little bit for them to select their courses.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know, if he'll actually register at the meeting or it'll just be open and then he can register like with me at home sometime after the meeting.
And he's freshman going to be a sophomore, correct?
Yes.
So he will actually, that evening, it will be opened up for about 48 to 72 hours in Skyward. So not a real long time. So as long as it happens
Okay.
quickly, have that conversation with him.
Okay. Okay. I just want to prepare him because, yeah, don't want him to pick anything crazy.
And Jamie, you'll have the ability to, yeah, you'll have the ability to, it's not written in concrete. And if the parents are like, you picked what, we can adjust it.
You can't do. Okay.
Don't worry.
All right.
Thank you, Brittany. Thank you, Jamie. Good questions, always. Yeah. Mr.
Thank
Freeze,
you, Director Rab.
should we go ahead and stop the recording at this time, or do you want to do one more question?
We can
I'm just
stop the
thinking-
recording. We can stop the recording. Stick around. Yeah.
Okay, I'm just thinking of the size of the video.